And one more time to the video screen for a presentation on Todd Eisner.
Todd Eisner. Todd Eisner was the head coach of the Bellevue men's basketball team for 8 seasons and remains the holder of the highest winning percentage among all coaches in BU athletics history. During his time at Bellevue, Eisner turned a moderately successful program into an NAIA Division II juggernaut. His teams reached the NAIA National Tournament in 7 of his 8 seasons. Twice during his tenure, Eisner guided the Bruins to the national championship game, while those teams currently share the BU basketball record for most wins in a season at 33. His teams made 3 other appearances in the Sweet 16, including the 2002-2003 team, which reached the Elite 8. Under his tutelage, 6 players earned a combined 8 All-American selections, while 18 players earned a total of 23 All-MCAC nods. Eisner himself was named MCAC Men's Basketball Coach of the Year, a league record 5 times, while student athletes were twice named MCAC Newcomer of the Year, and another garnered MCAC Player of the Year honors. He currently resides in Winona, Minnesota, with his wife, Andrea. He is currently the head coach of Winona State University men's basketball team, a position he has held since 2015.
My name is Ben Holling. I played basketball for Bellevue University from 2001 to 2005. I know Coach Eisner. He was my coach during that time. He currently is my 4-year-old daughter's godparent. He's her godfather. So I still can stay in contact with him fairly regularly, and he's a friend and a mentor. Coach Eisner was very demanding, would be the best word for it. On and off the court, he was not going to settle for anything less than your best, whether that be in the classroom, whether that be your attention to details, your ability to be on time, to be punctual, whether it was basketball related. He was always going to be demanding of whatever it was that you had in you. He was going to try to get out of you by any means necessary. Coach Eisner's a Hall of Famer because of the person he is, because of the man he is. Those would be the first two reasons why he's a Hall of Famer. Basketball-wise, which is why he's obviously getting inducted and receiving this honor. He could take any group of young men, of young people, regardless of where they came from, the circles of life they were in, their basketball ability, whether it was on the one end of the spectrum where they had a ton of ability, or he could take a team that was lacking in a lot of areas, and he would turn them into the best basketball team they could possibly be. No questions asked. They would reach their potential year in and year out, regardless of the situation, regardless of who he was coaching, where he was coaching, why he was coaching them. They would end up being the best basketball team they could possibly be, and there's no question in my mind about that. Coach Eisner was like a father figure to a lot of us. The running inside joke is he probably was most fatherly figure to me. I didn't have parents, so he would be on my case a lot for good reason, and I never wanted to disappoint him. Thanksgiving Day 2004, I was driving to practice. I was late, and as I said before, he was not a person to want you to be late, and he struck the fear of God in you if you were going to be late. So I was going much faster than I needed to on the interstate, and the Sarpy County Police did their job as they normally did, and I got pulled over. I happened to have some traffic-related incidents I had not paid for, and I guess the penalty for that was taking me to jail. When I was in jail, the only one person I could call was Coach Eisner. He'd be my first choice, but I was too afraid to do that, so I think I was the first incarcerated person to turn down their phone call. So I declined my phone call, and I was going to spend the weekend in jail, missing practice, missing all of that. About 2 hours later, when I was on my cot, they told me I had somebody that paid my bail, and it was Coach Eisner. He had called the local jails to find out if I was in fact imprisoned at that time, which I was. So he paid my bail. He gave me quite the lashing on the way home, and then with all that being said, he actually drove me directly to his house where his wife, Andrea, had cooked Thanksgiving meal, and I got to eat Thanksgiving dinner, and did not have to spend the weekend in jail. So quite the man, well deserving of the Hall of Famer.
Please welcome Hall of Fame member Todd Eisner.
Well, what do you say after that? You know? But that was 8 years. It was 8 years of characters with character. I mean, it really was. I mean, we had a great group of young men here, and I couldn't have asked for a more amazing time. And but that is a very true story, and that was just one of many. And I was with a bunch of the guys last night at the Red Eye, of all places, and we went over a lot of these stories, and unfortunately, I think Ben's is the only clean version that I can probably tell tonight. But it's great to be back at Bellevue University. This was a very special place for me. You know, it's the place that I got to meet Coach Mosser, and you know, the influence that he had on me, that he had on obviously Bellevue University athletics. So many people, whether he coached them, whether he mentored them as the athletic director. It's just amazing to see, you know, what he started, what he built, and then what Ed has carried on here. I find it very interesting when you look at the staff at Bellevue University and how many people have been here for long periods of time. You know, obviously Coach was here a long time, Ed's been here a long time, Trish has been here a long time, Kelly's been here a long time. You know, I was here 8 years. I think Shane's starting his 10th year. And what that shows me is how special Bellevue University is, because you don't stay at a place for a long time unless it's a special place. And you know, Coach started that from an athletic standpoint in that he did everything possible in his power to give us the ability to do our jobs and to do our jobs well. Those of you that know Coach knows he likes to win just a little bit, okay? And but that was his, you know, one of his many great attributes is that because he wanted to win as bad as any of us, he was going to do anything he could for us to give us the chance to pursue our passions. And so, you know, I can't thank him enough, although I'm not going to lie, it started out a little rocky. So I got here in 2000, and I had gotten out of coaching for a year. I tried to get rich selling pharmaceuticals for Johnson & Johnson, and one of many times that my wife has severely questioned her intelligence in terms of marrying me. I went from making a little bit of money at Viterbo to a lot of money selling pharmaceuticals to not making very much money to come to Bellevue University to get back into coaching. But I didn't know if I was going to get the job. And so never met Coach Mosser before in my life. And I get to campus and I walk into his office, and you know Coach, I mean, he tells it like it is. And I sit down at the chair across from him in the desk, and he says, "I'm just telling you right now, I don't even want to interview you. The president, Dr. Muller's making me interview you because of Bruce Rasmussen, but I've already got my guy picked out." That was my introduction to Coach Mosser. So I had two choices: either figure out a way to change his mind, or you know, I could probably go home. And I was living in Alabama at the time. We'd come up to see my family for a little vacation in Wisconsin, and then Andrea and I drove down 9 hours or whatever for an interview. And I wasn't so sure it was a great choice because it didn't look real promising. But, you know, we hit it off. I felt like we hit it off. And 8 years later, you know, that was someone that I felt like was really, really someone I could trust, someone that I knew would go to bat for all of us. And, you know, it's a really proud moment for me to be back. It's really a proud moment to see him and his wife, Gloria, and it's just special to be a part of his athletic program. So certainly want to recognize him as everyone else has done tonight. Thank you. I mentioned my darling wife, Andrea. Coach Mosser lost a bet. He said there was no way she would stay with me 10 years. I made it 20 this summer. Again, not so sure how, but I'm trying to do better each and every day. But certainly appreciate her support. Being a coach's wife is not easy. You know, we're gone a lot. We are a little moody. I was really, really moody last year. Oh boy, it was a tough year. Tough year for the Warriors. So she had to put up with a lot with me, but she's been there by my side for 26 years, 26 dating. Tried to make it 10. Couldn't. And 20 years of marriage. I want to thank my parents. My parents weren't able to make it tonight. They were planning on coming. My dad's had a major shoulder issue a few years ago. Got infected really bad, and he had to have emergency surgery yesterday, actually. And so anytime when you're obviously getting a little older, he's 76 years old, and they had to go in and take out the screws and the plate that's already in there, blah, blah, blah. But he's doing fine. But I was certainly hopeful that they were going to be able to make it tonight. Unfortunately, they were not due to that. Played for my dad in high school. So, you know, for those of you that have seen me coach, obviously I've got some of my favorite players sitting here at these two tables, have seen me coach, and needless to say, I'm a little nuts. I know this will come as a great shock to those of you that have seen me. I played for my dad all through high school, all 4 years. My dad had a rule playing for him: if you ever heard him curse, he would take the whole team to dinner. I never got a free dinner. If I had that rule with these guys, they wouldn't be done eating yet 10 years later. And you know, but he was very, very influential in my life. Obviously, both of my parents were, but from a basketball standpoint, and finding that passion for the game, and seeing the influence that he had on young people, and wanting to follow in his footsteps. So I just wanted to certainly acknowledge them, you know, without them being here tonight. Certainly want to thank the committee. This is a great honor. Want to thank Doreen. I know I've probably bothered Doreen a lot. I don't know where she's sitting. There she is. I was bothering her a bunch trying to get the things that she needed, but I know in most athletic departments, the person that actually runs the show, Ed gets all the credit, and Doreen does all the work. And so I certainly want to acknowledge all of her work, I'm sure, with the banquet tonight, and obviously her day-to-day activities in the university. You know, so I got the job in 2000, and I played for Coach Baroni. For those of you that have been around Omaha and seen Creighton basketball a long time ago, and if you want to find out where I kind of got my nuts side, that would be from him. And so I get here and start coaching and act nuts, and I was a little concerned about my behavior at times and the way I went about doing things, and got to know Buzz and Ed and Kevin a little bit. And so as I'm concerned about how I'm acting, and, you know, is there going to be any repercussions, or do I need to tone my act down, thankfully they had played for him. And they said I was a church mouse compared to how things used to be. And so, unfortunately for our guys, I didn't change a whole lot. And but you know, it was an unbelievable 8 years. And the young men sitting here in front of me, I owe this honor to them, to be real honest with you. Players make programs. Coaches, you know, have a thought and have a philosophy, and, you know, but you can have the best philosophy in the world, and if you don't have good players, you don't win games. You don't win championships. And somehow, some way, I was able to fool them into thinking that coming to play for me wouldn't be too traumatic to them, although the stories I heard last night, I think I have traumatized some of them for their entire lives. But I was so fortunate to get these young men to play at Bellevue University, and, you know, they made me look a whole lot smarter than I am. and every day they gave me what they had inside. Sometimes they didn't want to, but we certainly felt like at the end of the day, if they would give me the things that they were capable of doing, that a lot of special things could happen at Bellevue University with our basketball program. And you know, what an unbelievable 8-year run it was thanks to their efforts. And so, you know, to be real honest with you, this is not my award or my honor. This is our honor. Because without them, you know, this doesn't happen. You know, you don't win 220-some games in 8 years without a lot of really, really talented young men that worked extremely hard on a daily basis, were really competitive, and had great chemistry. And that's, to me, at the end of the day, what I'm most proud of is that these young men I consider friends. It's harder as I get older. I'm going to be 50 in 2 months. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm going to be 50 in 2 months. So, you know, when the guys at Winona State graduated this past year, you know, I'm not sure I'm necessarily going to be friends with them. I'm 28 years older than those guys. I was 32 when I got here. And so there was enough of a, you know, an age closeness, for lack of a better word, that put us in a position through all we went through that we were going to have a lifelong bond. And, you know, I couldn't be more pleased, I couldn't be more proud to be associated with these guys. They put us through a wild ride. That story there is one of many that could absolutely have you guys falling off your seats. But I don't even know if I could PG version some of them, to be real honest with you. But they're a special group. They're a special group, and it was year after year after year after year that we just you know, continued to grind out a championship level basketball program thanks to them. So to be real honest with you, at the end of the day, you know, I'm up here getting a wonderful award at a place that I consider to be really special and enjoyed for 8 years, but this is our award. And I want you to feel like it's your award with me, and the guys that couldn't be here tonight, it's their award also. And you know, I'm looking forward to continuing our friendship and our relationship for as long as I don't keel over yelling at the next group of guys that I'm coaching, which is on a daily basis starting on October 15th. So just really, really thankful for the opportunity to be back here. Thankful to see so many faces that I haven't seen in a while, whether it's our players, whether it's former Bellevue players. Obviously that guy over there who's just the absolute best. And really appreciate everyone's time tonight, and have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm sorry, I did forget one thing, okay? And they told me that I couldn't forget my wife, and I didn't do that, okay? I do have a very special group here that's sitting in the back table, and I do have it in my notes and forgot it. We had a very special booster club when we were here, and special in a great, great way. They were so supportive, great friends of mine. You can't have any successful program without support, whether it's moral support. Obviously, financial support is very, very important. These guys, as much as I talk about characters with my players, that group back there is a unique group of characters also. Great group of friends. They would travel to Branson with us. I don't know if it was our first year that you guys almost got thrown out. Okay, College of the Ozarks, very religious school. They were asked, if they didn't quiet down, they were going to be asked to leave. I thought they were just being supportive. But really, really a great group of guys. We set up a booster club room, which is now the e-gaming room. Is that correct? So what's now the e-gaming room, we'd set up, you know, food and snacks, and I brought pop and water. And then somehow you'd walk into the game and there's a bunch of guys holding red Solo cups. That's all I know. And but I do want to thank you guys publicly. It was you know, through your efforts in a lot of ways that allowed us to take that next step above and beyond what we were given. So I'm sorry I forgot you guys, but I really appreciate them taking the time to be here tonight. So thanks a lot.